Honest to goodness, I wasn't sure whatever happened. Like, seriously? I thought we would be watching this case forever. But you know what happened today? The state rested. They rested! Both sides have told their whole tales, and that part of it is over. No more witnesses. I'm so excited. And now another long, tedious process begins. Okay, so this is what happens next. First, the defense has requested a jury view, and that is when the jury goes on a field trip out to Moselle and they look around. I do not know why, but they're going to. So they're going to go there tomorrow morning, and then they're going to come back, and then they're going to have, they're going to talk. I think they're going to have closing arguments after that, like maybe lunch, then closing arguments. And after closing arguments, assume that doesn't go on for 500 hours, they will be free to deliberate. We could, in theory, have a verdict by Friday. We can have a verdict by Friday. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know what the verdict is going to be, but I'm so excited that the jury finally gets to like hash it out. And then the rest of us get to sit on pins and needles and wait. But wait, before we get too excited, let me recount for you what happened today. Because honey, it was spicy. Everybody came to play. The lawyers came to lawyer. First thing up, the state calls Ronnie Crosby, who is Alec Murdaugh's old partner. And I think the reason that they called him up was to say like, hey, in all your chatting with him, did you ever hear him say he was at the kennels the night of the murders at any other time? Did you ever hear him mention he was at the kennels? And basically he was like, yeah, no, first time I heard that was when he told the court the other day. So Dick Harpootlian gets up there and he starts asking Ronnie Crosby questions. Dick Harpootlian, old Poot Poot, was out to prove that Ronnie Crosby was mad at Alec Murdaugh, and that is why he was giving like negative testimony. Well, Ronnie Crosby was having none of it. And I was like, oh, I'm telling you, you must go on. I'm sure every other channel on YouTube has it. But the fireworks between old Poot Poot and Ronnie Crosby, I was like, oh. Ultimately, he was like, Poot Poot says, how much money did this man cost you? How much money are you out? How many millions? Tell me. And I was like, oh, okay, Poot Poot, calm down. And they were like, you hate him. Do you think he did it? And I was like, oh, well, does he think he did it? I think the short answer is yes, everybody thinks he did it. All his friends or whatever, I think they all think he did it. Like other folks out here in the world on the internet, some of them are like, you go get him, Alec. You didn't kill your family. Whatever. I don't know. But when he asked Ronnie, do you think he did it? Ronnie gave a very lawyerly answer. Honey, it's a good thing they didn't ask me. I would be like, well, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck. But Ronnie said, you have all the information and I don't. It's not my place to decide, or something like that. I was like, oh, well, that was nice. And then Harpootlian was like, you hate him. You're angry at him. And Ronnie Crosby got mad, and explained why he didn't hate him. And then Harpootlian was like, oh, you look mad right now. Honey, it was a good back and forth. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the pathologist came back. And so she was explaining why the defense's pathologist, his conclusions didn't make sense. So she explained her point of view, and she was nice, and she was learned, and she was like this mild-mannered teacher lady, and she was explaining the whole thing. And then Jim Griffin and Dick Harpootlian got up there, and they were hammering her. And she got flustered, and it was a lot of back and forth. And I was like, oh, everybody calm down. Everybody came to lawyer today. And then finally, they recalled the ballistics expert to talk about like the guns and the angles and the whatever. Most of the witnesses today were just like nice and jolly, except for Ronnie Crosby. He was a little pissed off. But the witnesses were just like, yeah, I'm just here to give you the information. I don't know what you want from me. Oh, wait. But before that, there was a guy to talk about the phone. If you throw a phone, does it come on? Does it not come on? And basically he was like, so I spent the weekend with an iPhone in my office, throwing it on the floor to see how often it turned on. And the defense was like, wait, you did what? Was there science, math involved? Did you record these experiments? And the guy was like, no. I just threw it on the floor a bunch of times and then I counted how many times it came on. This is an expert witness. That testimony was a mess, kind of hilarious. But the guy was like, I threw it on the floor. Math? No. There was no math. I I just threw it on the floor. And here are my results. The whole thing was crazy. Now, the defense could have been like, yeah, no, this dude is not a throw things on the floor expert. But before they knew what he was going to say, they were like, yes, he's an expert. And after he started talking, they were like, excuse me, teacher, he's not judge. He's not a real that is not expertise. But I guess anybody could conduct that experiment. Okay, get you an iPhone with iOS 14 and throw it on the floor and see how often the screen lights up. That was the experiment that he spent the weekend doing. And he didn't take notes and he didn't take pictures and he didn't video record it. Okay, not that scientific. But then after all the fireworks and the crazy and the back and forth, apparently Creighton Waters' boss was like, these suckers have all lost their mind. I need to stand up and be the adult in the room and bring some dignity and decorum back to the whole proceedings. So the Attorney General of the state of South Carolina did the direct examination and the cross-examine. I don't know. He talked to the last witness, the gunshot guy. And I was like, oh, it's like when the kids in class are acting crazy because the substitute is there and then the real teacher shows back up. That guy was the real teacher. He was thoughtful. He was educated. He didn't lose his mind. He didn't rant and rave and get on the floor like Creighton Waters. He just asked learned questions. And then when there were objections, he stopped. He behaved. And the lawyers on the other side behaved too. I wasn't even sure what courtroom I was in. I was like, oh, everybody's acting like they got some common damn sense. What happened? Ultimately, they went back and forth about gunshots and angles and bullets and trajectories. And there was a dowel in a box. They stuck a stick in a box and they kept sticking it in and out. And I was like, everybody calm down, because that's a little, I don't know. It didn't seem child friendly, but whatever. Not my problem. Ultimately, what we know now is that deliberations could, in theory, begin tomorrow. They could, what's today? Wednesday? They could start deliberating Thursday. They could have a verdict by Friday. Truth is, they might not have a verdict till next Friday if they get one at all, because we could go through all of this and the jury could hang, meaning they never come to a verdict. I really want to know, how long is it going to take them to reach a verdict? That's what I want to know. And then I want to be there when someone stands up and reads it in court. That is the most exciting part. Although it's a lot like Christmas, right? Like the build up to Christmas is so fun and so exciting. And then Christmas happens and you're like, oh my God. And then you're like, I'm bored. I suspect that's how this might go. But I am invested. I have been invested in this trial for over a year. I was looking at some of my old videos this morning. I made my first Murdaugh video a year ago. A year ago. That's a long time ago. And it has like 3 views, which is fine, because it was basically this. Me sitting here ranting and raving about these people that at the time the whole world had not heard about. I was like, yo, are you following this Murdaugh case? And even back then, I was conscious that me and my big mouth might get me sued. What if I say something to people? Alex Murdaugh was like, sue the crazy lady who said mean things about me and my family. So I was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Everybody just know, this is not the news. This is gossip, rumor, and innuendo. In fact, back then, I think I called it gossip, speculation, and innuendo. Something like that. I was like, don't come here for facts. You're not here. We're not here for facts. We're not here for facts. We're here to chit chat. Just me and you. Friend to friend, one-on-one. This is kitchen table talk. You know, there's talk that you have out in public where you're like, yes, hi, how are the children? Work is going well. How are you? How's your mother? That's wonderful. And then there's kitchen table talk where you're like, girl, let me tell you what happened. So this is the girl kind of talk, right? This don't need to be used in a court of law. Yes, this is all fully admissible, but that is why I am very clear and very frank to say this is not the news. I know it's shocking. I have a beautiful, newsworthy face and a delightful voice, but no, friends, this is not CNN. This is me, a nice lady from New Jersey, yelling at her telephone while sitting in the family room, and occasionally my dogs bark in the background or my husband comes home from work. That is what this is. Okay. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how long you think deliberation is going to take. We are on day 26 of this trial. Day 26. Hopefully fingers crossed, on day 27, it goes to the jury. And if not on day 27, definitely on day 28. 28 days in. I don't care what you think the verdict is going to be. I don't know that I care what I think the verdict is going to be. What I want to know is, how long do you think deliberations is going to take? Wouldn't it be crazy if they deliberated for like an hour and then came back? And then I think in that case, we would all know I think in that case, we would all know it's guilty. I don't think it's going to go down like that. 3 days, maybe 3 days. I think 3 days is a fair amount of deliberation, because then you could like deliberate for a day and a half. You could sleep in your nice warm bed over the weekend, have a nice dinner, see some friends, go to church, do whatever you do. And then on Monday you come back. And then after you've gotten yourself all the way together, done. But also, I've been on juries, and honestly, towards the end of it, especially after a long trial, people just want to get back to their regular life. Don't you just want to get back to your regular life? If you can get back to your regular life sooner rather than later, then you're just like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're going to go with what he said, because really, I need to get back to my projects at work, or my children, or my garden, or my whatever is going on. So we're going to see how this all shakes out. How do you think it's all going to shake out? And again, I don't care what the verdict is. I honestly don't. I mean, I do. I want the dude to be found guilty. But if he doesn't, no skin off my back, no skin off my nose. I do not care. I'm going to still live my happy life. I'm going to still be here shouting at my TV. No, shouting at my telephone. Maybe you have me on the TV. Hey, if I'm in your TV. Probably not, though. How long do you think they're going to deliberate? And what are we going to talk about tomorrow morning? It's field trip day. There is going to be no live streaming of court tomorrow. I'm a chatty Cathy. We'll figure it out. I'll see y'all in the morning. Bye.